What's a lead? What are the parameters that makes this a lead? If you bring us bullshit, I'm not paying for bullshit. Exclusivity is, okay, well, if you have $1,000 and you apply it to 1,000 names or 100 names on a piece of paper, but you have $1,000 and they say, okay, here's 100 names. They're not really vetted leads. Maybe they clicked on the link for some sunglasses. Maybe they're old, maybe they're new, maybe they're good, maybe they answer, maybe they don't. You got to really burn through. You got to have, there's some things that you have to know when it comes to the canvassing lifestyle and how to support it within your company. You don't just go hire a couple canvassers and figure it out. You've got to be able to vet those leads. You've got to be able to confo those leads. You've got to be able to track and make sure those go out, make sure they demo. But it is that ability where it's like, okay, I've got the guy who's bringing me this lead here in-house. So if it's a problem, I'm not going to run it. And I'm not going to pay for it. You know, you pay for a bunch of leads, you're good luck getting reimbursed if they're shit. But in-house, you control like, hey, I'm not paying you for this, brother. You just put a name on a piece of paper, it's not real. Or, you know, that in itself is huge. If I'm a door-to-door rep, it's my responsibility to go out and get these leads, right? But if I'm running retail and I'm expected, part of my job is that I'm supposed to be fed leads and I close these leads on a one-call basis, meaning I go out there and I sell it or I don't. If I don't sell it right, then I don't get paid. And I accept that. You had better prepare me as best as you possibly can with qualified leads if you expect me to do that, right? How do I get leads, right? If I'm running anything, doesn't have to be roofing, doesn't have to be windows, doesn't have to be exteriors. You have a product or a service. This is a home service-based industry. You have a service or a product that you're offering, whether it's windows or to fix those windows, and you need clients or patrons of the product or the service, right? So like, where do you get them from? If you have the ability to use door-to-door, it's one of the most exclusive lead sources you can get, meaning you're not going through and paying for any of those lead sources that you're paying for. So not only am I now paying for these leads, but I'm paying a certain amount for these leads, and I can only really expect a certain level of return in that getting exclusive door-to-door leads allows me to get a higher margin. Because if I know my other estimates objection is coming, I've got to be cognizant of the price. I can't expect to be, these companies that we come from would never have put all their eggs in that basket because they're charging like 600% markup. Like straight up, they really are. So they can't live and die on that. Because those types of leads, those come with a hefty price tag. You got to really work the hell out of them to get them to do anything, right? You got to call, and maybe 1 out of 100 is decent. Then you better sell it. And if you do, you already know that lead has been sold to 5 other people by nature of where it comes from. If you go out there and you swing for the fences, then company B does get in, you're shot. You've just made it way easier for company B to sell. Canvassing and door-to-door provide an option that is exclusive, meaning there's a very good chance no one's ever talked to them about, boom, pest control, their HVAC, their doors, their windows, their roofing. If you can see it on the outside of their home, my opinion is you can knock the door for it. So let's get into some meat and potatoes. We talked about where do we find some guys. We're looking for a specific ad spend. We're looking to make this cost effective based on who it is we're hiring. It's always going to be based on results. That's the beautiful thing about this and the reason why it's so cost friendly. If you bring us bullshit, I'm not paying for bullshit. If I pay for $10,000 in leads, now I got to go back to the lead company and say, oh, this is bullshit. Well, sorry, no refunds. Whereas if they are working for you and it's not good, you don't pay for it. But you got to be very clear. What's a lead? What are the parameters that makes this a lead? The roof has to be this age, this stuff, both homeowners home. Don't tell me some BS because I'm not going to send my guy out to a situation he can't sell. And I know if they're not both there or all the homeowners aren't there, there's a very low possibility of me selling that, or even if I sell it, it's probably going to cancel. We know that. That book's been written. Don't try and sell me on anything else. And now here's where this comes in training. You better put them with somebody that can show them these things. And if not, and that they're your first guy ever, you better be able to show them, or you better be able to sell the hell out of them and hope that they stick around. I can tell you personally, as I scaled, I stopped being as in tune with the individual because, now I have different leadership components and so on, and, they're focused more on the bigger results. But it really does boil down into the one-on-one of the individual. If every individual is firing on all cylinders and hitting their quotas, and we're tracking each of them, how many doors did you hit? Because the last thing we want to do is you go pay somebody a salary and you just pay them to go out, right? Now you might want to compensate them, have a very short leash if your laws require at that point that they be W-2, and you pay them baseline, base pay, or whatever, right? You need to keep track of where these guys are going somehow. So you might need a CRM, like a Sales Rabbit or a Canvas, just so you know, like, all right, are they actually going out, are they hitting, right? Now, early on, you can go out with them, right? And make sure, drop them off, make sure that they work. If they don't produce anything or they bring in fake leads, like, these are all things you've got to be prepared for that could happen to save you, like, guys going out and hanging out at McDonald's. I mean, we've seen it all.